Let's go while we're young.
Maria was literally just talking to me. We're about to come on like, Maria, shut up! We're on in like 2 seconds. It's like they're wrapping up the song. And you're like, I'm kidding. I tease her. We love her. We're having some technical bugaboos here. You know what? We were supposed to have 2 guests on tonight. We were having some technical issues with the one. I guess we're just going to have to try to reschedule with her. Nicole Loveless. Nikki, if you're watching, you know what? I'm going to try you one more time for the hell of it. That's right, people. You get to see how the sausage is made very quickly here. There you go. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah, Larry. I know Larry. I see Larry dancing. All right. No? All right. It's not going through. All right. Hi, everybody. Get a drink and take a seat. You're in the back room, home of technical issues since about 10 minutes ago. Happy New Year. I am your old pal, Gary Williams. Hey, New Year. Same old, wonderful, adorable me. You're welcome to society. All right, let's get to it. My co-pilot on this airship of hilarity. What? You know her, you love her. Your internet girlfriend, Maria Jarrell. There she is. Maria Jarrell, by the way. Sanitize for your protection.
Listen, it's cold and flu season. You got to be clamped down on that shit, baby.
Yeah, because now you sent me that one. Is there something I need to know?
No. I am just telling you that, working in a school with tiny humans who
Right.
who like to stick fingers in all kinds of orifices.
Right.
and on surfaces.
Yeah. Our guest is
Is that
shaking his head yes.
I have not used this much sanitizer since March of 2020. So
Oh, there you go. All right. Let's check the Lady Poopington checking in with a hi. There you go. So
Hi.
far, the chat's working.
well, good, because last time we were on, the chat was not working.
Yes,
so
we had YouTube chat issues.
It's
Hey,
always
man,
something.
like I always say, we're at the mercy of the internet. It's guys like me and our guest clogging up the internet with porn that makes these very issues happen. So, all right, let's get Maria. Happy New Year, by the way, and to
Happy
you
New
and
Year to
everyone,
you.
our viewers.
Yes.
As you can see, Maria mentioned to me when we first I'll go to the one shot. I still have a tree up down here, and have some lights on. And
Very
you know
festive.
what? Fuck yeah, we do. You know why? Because it's, the whole point of lights and things at Christmas at time, you know why? It's because of, nighttime, winter. The idea is to add light to the winter blues. So, you know what? What the heck? I'll probably be gone by the next show, but and actually we have an upstairs tree that we kind of transitioned into a Valentine's Day tree. We put because why not? We're nothing if not romantic. Maria, you look very short in your shot today. There you go. Is your chair lower? I don't know.
No, my spine is. That's
spine
the way
is?
it goes
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah.
All right.
I'm working on my old woman hump. I have to.
Your old lady hump?
My old lady hump.
Your lovely lady
My
hump?
lovely old lady hump.
Your humps? Your
Just
humps?
the one. Just the one hump.
Hold on.
I don't want.
Hump? What hump? What movie? I know our guest knows it. All right. You know what? Oh, there you go. Tracy checking in, saying hi. Good. So far the chat's working. Oh boy. It looks like we're do me a favor. One of you, somebody, I'll do it on my phone. I'm going to go and see if because it's our first time here. We are simulcasting from not only YouTube, but we're also doing it on Facebook. And I'm hoping that I get enough internet juice. Where the hell is it? I should be on the internet juice. Let's see this. Yeah, there you go. I see it coming through okay. So let's get the plugs things out of the way. As people already see, join us in the chat. I think we're holding up on YouTube. on Facebook. Sorry, I'm really frazzled. We have some technical gremlins before the show. So, all right. So as you can see, you can join the chat. And also, if you happen to be catching us on Facebook, you can also join the chat. We can actually bring both in. Don't forget to like stuff. You know how it works, people. It's 2022. Don't make me beg, please.
2020.
I keep saying that. And I know after the Chinese New Year, for a while, I'm going to put Year of the Cat, but it's the Year of the Dog. I know, I just got to keep putting that on my checks, Little Chinese New Year joke. That's the kind of show this is. And Maria, say the phrase about the like button that I hate saying, so.
We're going to, we don't smash that like here, right? We gently caress that like, so.
There you go, exactly. Also, sorry, I'm checking my notes here. As I said, we are also streaming on Facebook. Yes, Ross, he has got these doggy traders. I do YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So glad that I do so that I can get, I know you use Restream demographics. Good to see your show doing so well. I know you're you know what, we're gonna diverge a little bit into stream geekiness. I know you use Restream, and I know you're mostly software, based. I use hardware. I'm a hardware guy because as much as I use computers for things, I don't totally trust them because for me, computers want to do everything else. And they do a lot of stuff well, but the stuff I'm using, it just does this. But absolutely, if it works, it works. And everyone should live stream if and whenever they can. Nikki checking in. Guys, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Facebook is fine. You look great. Oh, Nikki was going to be on the show, but we're having some technical...
Nikki.
I don't know. Ross! That's right. She knows Ross. Everybody knows Ross. Call him Rusty when he was a kid, but he's not a kid anymore. All right. That's it. So we're streaming on Facebook, too. Anybody... Oh, yeah, you guys are watching on... Thank you, Nikki, for letting me know that it's streaming pretty well on Facebook, and assuming YouTube's holding up. We, Maria, finally, officially have a premiere date for the show that the world's anticipating. Gary Has Friends. There it is. Boom.
Look at that.
February, no,
I was
yes,
losing-
January 20th. It's a Friday, 8 o'clock on this very YouTube, and well, it says exclusively on Facebook, but I'm probably going to, also, because it's only going to be, I'm going to start it on my personal Facebook page, because, whatever, and we'll see how it goes. And if people like it, I'll probably wind up simulcasting it to YouTube anyway, or I'll post a recording of it, that kind of thing. So that's exciting, exactly. Lady Poomington, woohoo. Ross, right back, and Nikki, woohoo. I'm a long-haired daddy, jet ski riding, human daddy. That's right. It's my favorite Leonard Skinner song. And also, we have the, where'd you go? The schedule coming up. Obviously, today, if you found it, January 10th, Nikki unfortunately couldn't be with us, but she's with us from the chat. So actually, anything I mentioned, Nikki, feel free to comment and I'll read it.
Yeah.
And Larry coming in on the 24th, we have Jack Billings Presents. Jack Billings Presents is a scripted comedy podcast. And you'll recognize one of the names if you're a long-time backroom listener and person, Matt Deterior, who has been on this very program, the audio version, and we also used to produce the show that he would do. Him and his writing partner, Michael Colby, have made, Jack, there's actually 2 instances of the show, and they're fun guys. It'll be good to learn how to, what goes into making a scripted podcast, because they use voice actors. Larry, our guest, I know a lot of people that have been on it, but so that'll be fun. And then on February 7th, a longtime friend of mine, she is a orthopedic surgery nurse. Is that the one with the bones and the muscles?
Yes,
I can
orthopedic.
show how dumb I am. She's going to be taking, I believe in April, a medical mission trip to Honduras. How amazing is that? They're going to help people get some medical care that couldn't otherwise either have access to it or afford it. And that's really interesting because we need a lot of love and good vibes out there in the world. And she is doing that very thing. So look for that. That's it. Let's go back to the chat. Ross, you just became a Trivial Pursuit question. One spinoff. What? Oh, yes. I adopted. Yes. What spinoff from the back room? What spinoff from the back room debuted on January 23rd? Ah, yes. Oh, sure. Because clearly the masses will be asking for that. All right. So that's it. Our topic today, we have a topic today. We don't always have a topic, but we do today. It is a kind of a serious topic, a kind of a whatever. We always talk about the back room. Of course, the show and the idea of the back room was born in the back of a bar. But today we're going to be talking about addiction and recovery. But of course, we will do it in our own unique Beck Show way. We'll have fun with it. Our guest is a fun guy. And so let's get that. Again, we are scrambling here because I had the show set up for 4, but not 3. So, all right, let's bring him in. Is an old pal of mine who's been working the program for nearly a quarter of a century. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Larry Fecho. There he is. Larry!
How's it going?
Larry, do me a favor. Either sit up or pull the top of your laptop down a little bit. You look, there you go. I mean, you're not the world's tallest guy, but there you go. Can everybody hear Larry okay? Let's go back to there he is. Oh,
can you hear me?
Where'd you go?
I don't know.
Why are you not there all of a sudden?
Here I am.
Oh, that's why.
That's why. I had it set up for that.
Yes,
Oh, you know what? I have you in the other one.
Yeah, special
That's
Nikki
right.
space there that way.
All right, hold on. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do very quick.
What
On the
magic
fly,
are you going
everybody. This is what happens when you have technical issues on the fly. We are going to put Larry. We're not going to too much. We are going to, oops.
I can't be seen.
Yeah. Actually, I could bring you into that one. Yes, that's all right. We're going to put you.
What box are you going to put
I
Larry
know,
into?
right? Box 3 is going to be PC3. Hey!
There he is.
Now it's got to switch, so I'm going to try not to switch out of this too much. Yep, Lady Pooperton, I forget what it was. Tracy, hi, Larry.
How you doing?
Nikki saying hi, Larry. Nikki
Hi,
got
Nick.
to see Larry very briefly
For 3 seconds.
before we lost connection and things
Before
got
everything.
wonky. Now, like we said, this is a serious topic. Oh, yes, to hearing Larry. Thank you, honey. This is a serious topic, but of course, we will do this in our own unique backroom way. Let me give you a quick little background. Larry and I go back, 25 years? I met you on the tail end of Bender Larry. So that's how I met. I met just before I don't know, maybe you met me and you're like, hey, there's a guy that's got it all together. I've got a, probably not. But the foundation of our relationship is built on teasing, insults, and busting each other's balls into a fine powder. Is that not correct, Larry?
It is. I don't understand why I'm on the program because I never drank ever before or did any drugs. So I don't know why.
Larry, and I say this with all respect, you did all the drugs. You did all the drinking.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
There are many bears. What? There were many bars in the Reading area who may have gone out of business within 6 months of your getting sober.
Me and a friend actually kept the downtown tavern in business one whole summer. They were going to close.
Right.
We said no. We just started bringing people in, and
no, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Not at my favorite bar, you know.
That's fucking funny. All right. So we were going to talk that Nikki's a certified recovery specialist. Nikki, in the chat, if you can, give us a quick, and I know it's hard because it's so much to write, but, you know, a little bit of like what you do if you can, or, you know, I know it's hard to write, but Larry, tell us a little bit about what brought you to recovery. You know, I know it's a big open-ended question, but like, take us through the last year or so, see what you can do there.
Well, you know, I really have to go back to my brother, Steve, who 2 years ago sadly passed away from COVID. But he was a major drug dealer, addict, drinker, trash can drug addict in the town. And he was a mess. He turned our lives, he was 12 years older than me, turned our lives upside down when we were kids. He was a hippie. At the time, we're going back to late 60s, early 70s. And anyway, he somehow one night when he was about 26, 27 years old, woke up with his face plastered to the alleyway, frozen, a bunch of he said about $100,000 out of his pocket, sticking out. And he decided it was time to get help. And kind of, you know, I had a bunch of uncles too who were drunks. They weren't drug people, but they were drunk, and he kind of broke the chain of alcoholism and addiction in our family. Anyway, he kind of passed the drug addiction and alcoholism over to me, and I kind of.
But there's something you don't want to necessarily inherit, right? There you go.
No, and it's a disease. I mean, people don't want to hear that. Right. They say, you know, it's. Oh, we got two.
Go ahead, keep going.
We have you know, it is a disease. It's a progressive disease, and it's a family thing. You know, it skips generations many times. And me and my brother got it big time. Now, I was never like quote as bad as he was. Right. So it was very hard for me to go, well, why? I'm just having fun. I'm out there just partying. What, you know, like leave me alone. Right. So anyway, the last year. You know, it got to the point where I'd go to the bar and they'd say, what do you want to drink? And in my head, I'd go, boy, I'm really not in the mood. Like, go get a steak somewhere or go see a movie or go do something else. And there was like a magnet in my ass, like sticking myself to the bar stool. And
it's kind of, let's try to go back to the shot, see if, there we go. I think we fixed it. And it's kind of the safety of like, it's comfort, you know? Like, you know, the people, because I mean, I'm on a sort of a little break to almost 2 year big drinking. You know, I don't think I was, I don't know. I was kind of bingy. If I wasn't an alcoholic, I was alcoholic adjacent, right? So I know what you mean. There's a comfort, a familiarity, and let's be honest, booze and drugs, they make you fucking feel pretty good for a little while.
Sure.
They fucking do, you know. That's the part that we don't want to admit.
Yeah. Alcohol used
but then that's the thing too, right? You feel like you're going to like, this is what I do. This is it. This is me. This is, you know, right. This is where I go. This is what I do.
Right. But the insanity of in my head going, I don't want to do this. You know, I go to a movie, go do something else, go back and do theater. I stopped doing theater. And
really, what was that?
Pretty much, I really, was working at a bar and blah blah blah, and I got to the point where it was like, this is sick. Like, you can't, So finally, I went to my brother. He had been sober many years. I avoided him like the plague. He was a major
quitter, right? That's what you were thinking, quitter.
Yeah. In fact, my best friend who drank, got shirts when I got sober. Said, "I'm not a quitter." It's kind of sick. But Steve, I went to Steve, and he was a big therapist in our area and Texas. Actually, did some major rock bands in the country and blah. I won't say who they are, but he did that. Anyway, went to him around 6:00 that evening. It was June 17th. And I said, I think I got a problem. Nothing has worked out in my life. Everything is bad. People who hate me. I'm always, always in a situation. He said, well, Larry, I've been trying to tell you for a long time, you're a drunk. And if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, must be a duck. Every time he said that, I wanted to punch him in the face. Yeah. So anyway, I heard that. And he said, look, just maybe get 2 weeks. Go to some AA meetings. See what it feels like. No drinking, no drugging. So the moment I left, I went right to the bar. The Renaissance Bistro, which is no longer there on Greenwich, a couple blocks from his place.
Right.
And I drank until 11:59 that night, June 17th. And I remember I had Alizé, this cognac fruit drink, and champagne. I used to drink champagne at the Ghetto Bar because I thought I was.
Yes, I do remember champagne, Larry. Yes.
I thought I was so incredible. I was Frank Sinatra, And so I raised my glass and said, this is the last drink I'm ever going to have. And I raised it up and I slammed the drinks, and everybody, I said, that's it, I'm done. Everybody laughed. You'll be back tomorrow, Larry, blah, blah, blah. I left and literally I detoxed on a friend's porch. I don't know if you remember David Camiona.
No, I don't.
He used to write all around the town that I had a crazy newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that paper.
Yeah, and so we did that, and his wife at the time was in recovery, and I went on their porch. It was hot. It was June 18th. I was kind of sweated out, whatever, and I went to my first A meeting with her the next day in Mount Penn, and I haven't had a drink since. So it's been almost 24 and a half years.
Yeah. Because it was you were a good time Charlie there for a while, right? I mean, if it was in front of you, you tried to. I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying, right? And I don't know how personally you want to get. I mean, I know there were obviously you split. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean people split all the time for different reasons, but I mean, was that a factor or?
It had a lot to do with drinking. She just would blow my high, and it was, I knew that I was living a lie. I kept trying to be married and have kids, and, my daughter was getting older.
Yeah.
She, I guess, was about 11 or 12, and she was starting to, she's a pretty smart cookie, always was.
Yes.
And she was starting to pick up on shit.
Yeah.
And, that was another thing in that last year where I'm going like, I'm going to lose these kids and whatever. And that was really scary because, it's not like I didn't want kids, but I wasn't ready for kids when we were planning to have kids.
Right.
And she, my ex-wife wanted kids, and I sort of obligated and did what I had to do, and we had a kid.
Let me jump in here. Let me give a quick little background. And this will tie into all this. I met Larry through local Reading theater. Now, Larry is a Broadway baby from day one. He when he was a young man. There you go. Other way, Larry. Go the other way.
It's weird.
The other way.
It's opposite.
There you go. It's opposite. It's weird. I don't know how weather people do that shit. I met Larry doing theater. And he, yes, Larry's a Broadway baby. I know when you were a young man, you worked for producer Joe Papp. That's where you saw yourself. You saw yourself, in New York and stuff like that. And when Larry and I really got to become friends is Larry wrote a play. Not terribly, not too loosely or whatever, based on his life. You know what? Very quickly, there you go. Let's check in. Corey Mason checking in with there you go. Corey, just passed a year, alcohol free.
Awesome.
There you go. My nephew, 481 days. We do recover. There you go, brother. Proud of you. Keep on going.
One day at a time.
Absolutely. There you go. And Larry's play, I played Larry essentially. And it was pretty damn raw.
This is uncanny, baby. I'll tell you.
You know what? Yeah. We tried to get a better looking guy.
Ouch.
Larry was available.
Ouch. And you thought, we're never going to. Okay, hold on. Listen there, model Tay Diggs over there. All right. Kind of thing. So that's where Larry and I really. So, like I said, I saw tail end. As we all know, stars the brightest just before it burns out, kind of thing. So. But I'm here to say that even after O's recovery, Larry is the same lovable asshole that I knew then and still is. All right.
And I think you bring up a good point. You don't, I made some changes, some major changes, not just drinking, because it's not alcoholism. It's not alcoholism. It's alcoholism.
Right.
I did make a lot of changes. I'm a nicer person. I'm a better person today. I have my faults. I'm not perfect, but much better. I'm much more aware when I'm a dick. I apologize much more quickly. Right. I will look at my part in whatever it might be, even if it's just a little part. So that's AA, and that's what you learn. Right. But you're right. It's a growth thing, and it's not just about drinking is but a symptom of our disease. Okay.
Yeah.
And that, like you talked about New York. I was in New York. I was working for a Broadway producer, Alexander Cohen. Joe Papp, I did all kinds of things, but the alcoholism, not that I lost jobs because of it, the alcoholism just always got in the way.
Yeah.
And I would get depressed and I'd get lonely. And then New York, I didn't like because I was depressed and lonely. So I'd come back to Reading, and it just, I would make decisions like, oh, I'm 21, let's get married.
Yeah. And not to get too fucking philosophical here, but I mean, that is kind of the point, isn't it? Anyway, of being a human is trying to continue to be the best version of yourself. And life's fucking hard enough. Enough shit gets in the way, mostly ourselves. So like you're saying, once you start throwing in, because I think a lot of times it can give you this false sense of confidence or false sense of, whatever. And you're right. But at the end of the day, sometimes you find out, wow, that is just another hindrance,
I mean,
I feel like.
Go ahead, Maria. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I just was gonna say, I feel like sometimes, especially with creatives, you feel like you have to, like, oh, it's gonna give me I'm gonna have that. It gives me my edge.
Yes, I have a question about that.
Makes me think about outside the box, or I'm
right.
I'm not gonna be, with comedians a lot of time, I'm not gonna be as funny if I don't have a drink, right. Or it's just gonna loosen me up, and I can be, it'll give me less inhibition, so I'll be able to,
right.
Write that joke that I might not attempt if I wasn't,
right.
Have that behind me or something like that.
You're exactly right, Maria, and that is exactly good on you. Exactly the question I have for Larry. Exactly, Larry, of course, working in the arts, being a director. I
stole his notes.
No, you're a genius. That's it. Hey, we know what? Two people, one brain. Maria's I call her my podcast wife. Exactly. So exactly, Larry, as a director, as a person, as a writer, I mean, exactly. Do you see that a lot where people are afraid to, that they're going to, lose their edge? Because I do get it, because after a few beers, because it brings, like I said, brings confidence and brings delusion. I call myself, after a few beers, I call myself Professor Gary, because that fucking guy knows everything. You know what I mean? So what would you say to people that are concerned about losing their spark?
Well, it's all bullshit, really.
Yeah. Right.
It's procrastination, actually. That's what happens is, like, instead of doing stuff, I would go, I'll go drink. I mean, I would have never written that play until I decided to not be a drunk. Now, I was, all drunks are mostly survivors and they get things done, but it always sort of fails in the end. You never quite get there. You never quite, you're like, you sort of get there.
Yeah.
And there are some people who are like major stars, look at, Robin Williams and stuff like that. But, that's a different breed. But, that it doesn't make you, I mean, unless you drink a very little, like you have a glass of wine to relax. Or
right.
Something.
George Carlin used to joke about when he was writing his jokes, he would write the joke out, take a few tokes, punch up time, and of course he's joking about it, but
But it really, I don't know. For me, it has opened me up and stopping drinking and drugging.
Right.
Now for me, I wasn't a major drug addict. Drinking was my buddy.
Right.
Alcohol was my friend. I certainly had my cocaine nights and my, and I had some great times with meth. And we used to get this oxen, which you can't get anymore. This like clinical speed. It was like,
Wow.
And
I got a guy, Larry. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, thanks. We could drink, man, dude. I could drink. I had such a capacity for alcohol.
Right.
That, and I think.
And what was your booze of choice?
I drank everything, but gin especially was mother's milk.
Jesus.
I liked to actually
Lighter fluid.
Back in the day, I don't remember Alfie's. It was out there near the Walmart.
No.
Actually, there's a bank there. It's the stone of the walls.
On Temple?
No, out by Walmart in.
Wyomissing?
Wyomissing there.
Okay.
There's a bank that has stone walls. That was part of Alfie's. It was an old stone. Crazy place. They used to have 2 for $1 back then at happy hour, and I'd get. I used to get triple gin on the rocks. So I would get 2 16-ounce glasses of gin.
Wow.
We would slam them, okay, and then do 4 shots of Yukon Jack.
Wow.
And honest to God, I threw up twice in 19 years.
Wow.
And because if I threw up more, I would have gotten sober quicker. Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I hate throwing up.
Yeah.
And I had a capacity. I would buy a gallon of that Gallo wine or whatever,
right.
And I'd take it home and drink it in an hour.
Wow.
I tried to drink a gallon of water in an hour, couldn't do it.
You can't do it. It can't be done. No. There's always memes about that, about 8 beers, no problem. 8 glasses of water in a day, good luck. It's like,
exactly.
I remember there's something, and I wrote it down because I want to forget it. I remember you said something, this is years ago, and this is something that I think people who are maybe new to recovery or think maybe, and like you said, you're never really over the hump. I mean, maybe you get over some stages, but you said, I remember this, beware of celebration. Do you remember that? Do you remember saying that? Because I think what you said you meant is that people go, oh, I got this. I'm good. Oh, I can have that beer at the wedding. Oh, I can do that. Or, and that stuck with me because you're right. You have to be, there's a certain amount of vigilance, I think. Of course, there's got to be, certain things you avoid, Oh,
my God. I mean, it sits on your back. It waits. It's like that little devil there. Right. And it just waits for you to go be in a vulnerable situation. And then you make that decision. You go, what's 1 beer or a glass of wine? I mean, come on. And I know people who have done that. They've, I don't have a judgment on it.
Right.
But they, they thought they could do it. And, for a couple of weeks, they're great. Glass of wine here, beer there. All of a sudden, 3 weeks later, back to the races.
Yes.
And the thing about the progressive disease thing I was talking about, I was told that if I were to start drinking now, this is 24 and a half years later, I could probably drink more than I did back then because the disease in your brain grows.
Huh.
Okay? So at first I might get drunk and be a little crazy.
I was going to say your physical capacity at first.
But after that, the capacity would get even worse.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Drugs, can bring you down really quickly. But that's why I didn't, I didn't have the money for
You know what? Here's the thing nowadays, too. Larry, drugs are for the young.
It's a kid's game.
We're too old for drugs.
Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. And also with all the shit out there that are mixing in with this fentanyl.
Dude, when you see a news report like this little tiny speck of this drug will make a rhino fall over of a heart attack, you go, oh boy, it's scary out there. All right, let's turn to the chat. Nikki popped in. Oh, this is funny, lady. First of all, Nikki says happy anniversary. There you go. Lady Poopington, is it wrong? I've made the show a drinking game. Every time you say, name a drink, I take a drink. No, not at all. Lady Poopington, by the way, Larry, don't forget, that's Denise. That's Denise. Enough. Yeah. And she's drinking boxed wine, and that's a fact. So, all right. So Nikki says, oh, it's really small. Oh, it's so much. I'll read it. I work with SUD/AUD patients, probably, I guess, substance abuse people at both a hospital, setting and an outpatient setting at a medical practice. I actively play a part on those patients' med team. Substance use disorder, alcohol use disorder. There you go. I'm trying to kick down the stigma surrounding mental health and addiction issues. Agreed. I help connect people to community resources, assist with barriers to treatment. I work all things addiction and recovery related. We have lost too many, way too young. So this is my passion, my purpose. Right on. Right fucking on.
That's great, Nikki.
Nikki is out there. You know, a lot of people, keyboard warriors or social, and I don't mean that shitty, like we do what we can, but Nikki is out there and she's telling me, you know, it's, you know, obviously not a lot of happy, often, I shouldn't say not a lot, often a less than happy ending, of course, as you would expect. And, I'm going to get emotional. And I'm a goddamn if she doesn't get up and go fucking do it again.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, you know, it is that path is fraught with heartache and pain and stuff, but she does it because she makes a difference. She's a lifeline to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's pretty damn awesome.
It's true. And it's true that I think it's true. And you know, Larry, you can let me know that you were fortunate to be able to, from the jump, decide and be able to you know, to continue your sobriety. But for a lot of people who battle addiction, it's you stumble and you fall and you relapse, but you try to get back on the horse and get sober again and try again. It's not a just, oh, I fell off the horse. That's it. I guess I can't do this anymore. And I think that's something.
Oh, I broke my streak. It's over now, kind of thing. Yeah.
And I think that's some people don't understand.
You want to, you know, the people go, quote, in and out of the rooms, we say, a lot. And it's, you know, we always say, you know, we'll keep a chair for you. We'll hope that you come back. And again, there's no judgment on it. People have to find their own path with this, their own journey. And as I had to find with me now, you know, I was just done, you know, like I was done. And I was very lucky because, you know, my brother was very involved and that helped me a little bit get to know people a little quicker. I was apprehensive though, because everybody, and I don't mean this, you know, they all felt so happy and so, you know, born again.
What's with all this joy? Oh, God.
And I was like, ugh, you know, I really don't want to be around that.
Yes.
And I just found out they were all a bunch of drunks like me. That was the thing that I learned in AA. AA is an amazing program. So is NA and all those programs, because you're around people like you. So you really, you know, you learn, like they start telling their stories and you go, that's my story. Do you know in the first 3 years of my sobriety, I lost my 3 best drinking buddies. Okay, so the first month I'm sober, Ritz dies in a terrible car accident on the Fifth Street Highway at 2 a.m.
Oh, you mean lost? I think you meant like you stopped being friends.
No, died.
Oh.
Okay, then a year later, my best drinking buddy, Janice, okay, she used to shoot up. Now, I never did that. I hate needles.
Yeah, you and me both, brother.
Boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, she got blood poisoning from needles and killed her a year later. And then a year later, her son, who I tried to get sober, and he said, it's really the drugs, it's not the drinking. He went back to drinking, went back to cocaine, and had an overdose. So 3 years, 3 best buddies. Right. So that was me. I was in that line. I would have been, if I would have stayed with them.
The next domino to fall.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
So.
Nikki checking in again. Some people can have a drink at a wedding and their lives don't become unmanageable. Then there's alcoholics who do drink in misery and destruction. What a perfect wording. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's always that back end of it. Again, hey, I'm the handsomest boy in the world. But then there's, you know, there's stuff.
Well, I mean, you know, I think what you have to understand is the reason why, like you were saying, well, you have binged a bit or whatever.
Yeah. 14, 15. I wouldn't drink every night, but when I did, 14, 15, 16 beers easy. Like, but why?
But you know, true. But it's when you're having consequences from alcohol,
absolutely,
or drugs. That is the thing. So, you know, yeah, maybe you did a little too much, went a little overboard, but I was having consequences.
Yeah,
I was having, you know, I left my wife, and you know, I was doing illegal things, and I was getting into trouble, and I was
Were
really
you sucking things for coke money, Larry?
yeah, that was me. That was me. I thought of you the whole time.
I don't know. Hell, well, you know why? Because I was right next to you, going, "Hey, but it's good. The hours are good, aren't they?"
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my favorite drug, and I don't do this, kids out there, was trips. I did only 4 of them, but I got to tell you, that was a mind-opening experience. When you talk about the creative
What do you
things,
mean, LSD?
yeah, well, acid,
Acid,
but
yeah.
it's a like pure LSD.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was kind of wild, and I don't regret doing that. I'm glad I didn't die doing it. But we went through a car wash like 8 times.
And you didn't have a car.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, let's go through again. But that's war stories. You call them war stories.
Right.
But I got a lot of them. I had a lot of fun partying.
Oh yeah, believe me. But no one really wants to talk about that. Oh, that's not true, but it's like, fucking cocaine. Cocaine's fun.
It's that thing where you think like, it's not all misery, right? You're getting something from it, and delight or joy is sometimes part of that, because and that's real.
It is. What's really hard, I feel bad for people who have food addictions, because you have to eat.
Yes.
You don't have to drink, but you have to eat. And people who go to OA and do that stuff,
right,
that is so hard. And
Larry's also a sex addict, but he also has the same amount of time since he's used.
We won't go into that.
I'll tell you. All right, let's check back in with Nikki again. Everything is cut with fentanyl. Drugs today are different than they were back in the day. This shit is deadly, literally life or death. I help people find the way to treatment. It's heavy sometimes, but it's also rewarding. Short. Yeah, well, I mean it, honey. You're there. 12-step meetings are great. I also recognize that there are many pathways to recovery. We just have to find what works for each individual. Yeah, we're going to touch on that later. I have a couple of questions, exactly, because Nick and I talked about that. Is that there if there's many ways to get there, there's many ways to help get out of it too. So it's not a one size fits all thing. I have a lot of OD cases from cocaine users that are unaware that's fentanyl. Yeah. Jesus.
I can't. Like I said, she's right. What we were doing back in the 80s and into the 90s is not. Today it's deadly, and I could never go there. And then 24 years later, now some of this is genetic, but I had a heart issue, because of probably what I did for 19 years. And even though I stopped at 39,
right,
you have consequences.
Let me ask you, and Nikki, maybe you can jump in here. In your experience, I think outside of things like, you hear about genetic predispositions and things. Oh, I knew I was going to stumble on that word. Do you see a lot, and maybe this is more for Nikki, although you're in the, you're working it. Do you see any common factors you see that, basically if you're building the perfect addict, like, are there a lot of things, I know things like upbringing and just access, but like, are there common traits you see often?
I think Nikki could answer this better. I don't think so. I think it's, grandiosity is part of it, but there's some people, like, I liked bars. I wanted to be out with people. I wanted to be partying.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some people who they want to be home with their bottle by themselves. That was never me. Okay?
Bars are fun.
Yeah, I liked, I loved especially old looking bars, the Waldorf,
the doggier the better, baby. Yeah, there you go.
I love that stuff. But by the end, I was drinking at like cheap, I don't mean this rudely, but kind of, we called them ghetto bars because they were cheap, and we would go there.
Drinking aftershave.
Answer that question better as far as some of the things that tie it all together. But Nikki, where are you?
Oh, there you go. Well, she just said our city is in crisis. Oh, there you go. Yeah, a lot of past trauma. Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine. Now, the desire, let me clear that out. The desire to sort of alter our consciousness and, not to use a clinical term, get fucked up, is not a new thing, a new phenomenon. I'm sure it's been around as long as humanity has been. I always joke and say, there was a caveman who he saw a puddle. He was getting a drink out of it, and it had some barley in it that fermented. And he's like, "Whoa. Oh, this fucking puddle." And he calls his friend over. Tommy, you got to try this fucking puddle water here. Holy shit. And him and Tommy, the caveman, are drinking fucking puddle water, and they're like, "Hey, do you think women are going to find me attractive?" Or they're questioning about why they, their animal skins only have the one strap on the one side. They start getting really deep and philosophical, whatever, So it's not like that desire to alter our consciousness is anyway a new thing. In fact, Larry, as we pointed out, is what we call an old head. Larry was probably slamming shots with Ben Franklin at Ye Olde Pub, right, Larry?
I wish.
You wish?
I wish.
But the good thing about Larry is he led to a wonderful thing where he told Franklin, "Go fly a kite." Get it, Larry? Maria, get it? Go fly a kite.
I got it. I got it.
Franklin's a character in the play.
Oh, yeah. And Larry, I know you played Ben Franklin in 1776 also.
Yeah,
I
did. I remember in Just Another Illegitimate Child of John Lennon, he's one of the characters.
Yeah, that's the play, right?
Because he was a sex addict. Really.
Right,
Yeah.
yes. So knowing that, I think what's changed is perception and really kind of like who the addicts are, because we all have this image back in the day, especially those of us, we're all, over a certain age, of the druggy guy. But it's really, now.
Like the crackhead.
The
right?
crackhead, man, with the hummy. But now it's like, kids, you go get a sports injury. Chase is playing lacrosse. He hurts his knee. He go get surgery. He gets some pain pills. Boom. The opioid crisis, So, I don't know. Like, have you seen, again, I don't want you, but have you seen sort of the community change, Larry? Do you think, I don't know how, and that's also maybe one for Nikki too, but.
That's probably more Nikki. I don't know, I know a lot of drunks more so than I know the addict.
Right.
I think, it's all kinds of levels. It's like, my brother was insane. He was what they call a trash can alcoholic addict. So he would do some Quaaludes and then snort some Coke and then drink a bunch of wine. Then he would smoke some weed.
Wow.
Okay.
He was on a mission.
I was not like that. Okay. I would drink and then sometimes somebody would have cocaine and we'd do some cocaine, know. And it was, but I drinking for me was always constant.
Right.
Always constant. And then I started getting, headaches. So what do? You drink in the morning to get rid of the headache.
Yeah.
The first beer was always hard, but then you were off to
it wasn't. Yes.
Off the alcohol back, your level up.
Right.
But that's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
What I love in AA or being sober or whatever is, living life on life's terms. I went through a bankruptcy. I owed a lot of money to the IRS, which I got worked out. My brother died 2 years ago, and my mother died the month before he died. And, my father died, and I didn't have to go drink.
Right.
I went, I lived life on life terms. I embrace the pain.
Right.
Everybody thinks life is supposed to be perfect. And if it was perfect, we'd be in, quote, if there is one, heaven. Okay. So, life isn't perfect. It's a roller coaster ride. And every time you anesthetize yourself with alcohol or drugs or whatever, you're not living life.
Yeah.
It's an easy out.
You're not in it. You're
Well
sort
said.
of escaping from it.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Back with Nikki, it's when people start using drugs or alcohol, self-medication, right? Over-prescribing meds, opiates, right? Here you go. Drinks with Ben. Seriously. How fucking, that's maybe the one good, if you get one time travel, maybe you go back and have a beer with Ben Franklin.
I do that.
Nikki, I've worked in specialized department on rehabs just for the first responders, cops, judges, lawyers, doctors, athletes, upper class, middle class, poor. That's it. Yeah. We'll talk about that, about specified meetings and things. Loss and grief is huge in addiction. Yeah. Right on. Oh, Larry's getting messages. Ding! Keep hearing that.
I run a theater, and you know, they can't live without me.
Oh, wow, exactly. So what I was talking about, sort of, you know, what I'm going to touch on, it ties in what we were just saying, how really drugs and alcohol is a huge part of society and our culture. It's as American as apple pie, you know, things like, I wrote this down, like movies. I mean, Cheech and Chong, you know, we laugh at the drunk guy, you know, Foster. Remember, God, I'm going to date myself here. Remember Foster Brooks? You know, I mean, it's I was going to say this too, hell, goddamn Coca-Cola had Coke in it, for Christ's sake, you know, with about 100 years ago, maybe. Yeah. My wife mentioned this to me. If you're a longtime viewer, that's not long time, but earlier this season, Maria, when she went home to clean up her child at home, and she found they used to give out, I don't know if they still do, proms. They give you champagne flutes. I mean, not that they were serving you alcohol, but it's like, why would you give children adult alcohol stemware? Because it's just because it's so tied to, hey, celebrate with something, you know?
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, think about it. Look on Facebook, you know, every time somebody who's normal goes on vacation, what is every picture? Oh, we have adult beverages. We have this, we have, you know, you know, we're drinking, we're at the, you know, like, it's like, can't you just go on vacation and enjoy vacation? You have to drink yourself into vacation because you just have to go party.
And you're right. I think that's why, you know, people always put, oh, I'm back. I need a vacation from my vacation. And you're right. You're probably fucking detoxing is what you're doing.
Exactly.
Bree's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm teasing.
No, I know it's true. No, for me, just being, you know, now I'm facing double nickels down in another 2 weeks.
That's right. January 25th.
I just can't. I mean, I still enjoy a glass of wine. I enjoy, you know, going out with friends and having, you know, an alcoholic beverage. But gone are the days where I could, you know, just pound until I was, you know, in an altered state, because it's not worth it anymore for me, because it would be back when I was in my 20s and you would get up and you go, oh, my head hurts a little bit. I'm going to eat a burger and have some fries and drink a little Gatorade and take a nap. And then by 1 o'clock, I feel okay.
Yeah. What is it with greasy food, by the way?
It's 3 days later and it'd be like, and I'm just starting to feel like a human being. And I do not have time to waste a day and a half not feeling awesome. It's just not worth it to me anymore.
That's what was leading to me.
One or two, but I can't. I'm like, no, I'm not, and I'm not mixing, and I'm not doing this, and then doing this, and then doing this. I can't.
That's what led to me. One of the things I was like, I need a break, because, like you said, 3 days, man, you're still going. I'm still a little, you know, and you're dehydrated.
I'm still a little not great.
Not great. Nikki, to Larry, sorry for your losses. I've lost siblings and parents. I can relate. I'm sorry. Yeah. This sort of one of the inspirations, whatever, for this episode. I had a half brother who sadly battled drug addiction for a while. He got okay, and then he, you know, like a lot of people, then he wasn't okay, and he wasn't. He took his own life, which of course, you know, it's not like everybody. People with addiction die from the substance, you know, meaning directly, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, here you go. Saying hi to Brian. Brian, hold on. Where you at? You in here somewhere? Are you watching? I don't know. But anyway, so let's take a moment to, we have a sponsor, Larry. And you know what? Hold on. Larry?
It's not a beer distributor. Don't worry about it.
Larry, you've woken up in a few gutters, right? Well, then you should have called Exeter Gutter Cleaning LLC. I'm the fucking king of the segue, aren't I? Our sponsor, if you're watching the show, I mean, you've heard us say it all. Don't let the name fool you. Exeter Gutter Cleaning, which of course, my man Chris Herder does all kinds of exterior work, but he also does interior work. You know what, Maria? It's a little bit colder now. What?
It is.
Maybe not time to be doing that outside
your
stuff. Your
gutters might be freezing. Like they might be getting like, you know, that's what you want. You don't want to have get you know, some water from maybe like a rain or a slush, and then it gets melty and it's stuck in your gutter, and then we freeze.
Right.
And then you've got the weight of the ice in the gutter causes the gutter to like you know,
Thank you. Yes.
it's
Maria,
not good.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your TED Talk. Exactly. You're right. Exactly.
I speak
You need
the
to
truth.
do that preventative maintenance for your house, but also all kinds of stuff, indoor stuff. If you need it rebuilt, repaired, hell, added on a little bit, chances are my man Chris Herter, Exeter Gutter Cleaning, can do the job for you. By the way, still healing up, had hip surgery a
I
couple
was
weeks
just gonna
ago.
say,
He
so
was
that
up and
he
about not
better
too long though.
so that he could better serve his clients, he went and got a new friggin' hip. He's bionic now.
Yeah, he's already up and
like
about. I don't know how he
He's like
does
a
it.
super soldier. He does the thing like the super soldier does with his arm. He does it with his leg now.
With his
because
leg
that's-
now.
Yes, he can go around like this. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's half bionic now. Exactly.
He is. He's a $6 million.
But he lives in
cleaner
Boyertown,
expert.
so I don't know, $50,
right.
$75 tops. But
All right,
But
the
no.
35,000. I don't know.
Chris is the hardest working man in all of home repair. So right there's a phone number, 610-698-3876. And also check him out on Facebook, Exeter Gutter Cleaning. He's got tons of before and after photos. You know, and let's be honest, like we always say, you know, your fat ass ain't getting up on that ladder. Anymore.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? More should you. You know, you're probably not, hey, honey, I'm going to get to that thing. And like 5 years go by. You know, you told me you were going to do that thing when Larry was still drinking. That's how long it's been.
That's a long time.
That's a long fucking time. Well, you haven't done it. Well, guess what? One quick phone call, set it up with Chris. Boopity, 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 boop. That's internet magic, by the way. Boopity, 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 boopity. It's done. It's done. And like we always say, you're not getting a big box store who hire outside contractors and you bring people in, like the guy that came to my old house who smelled and let people in have a glass of water when I was out of the house. Yeah, that really happened, by the way. That's a true story. Well, Chris is not going to let strangers stroll into your abode. And he's just a great guy. All kidding aside, he's done work for me here, and he's the best. So give him a call if you need work today. All right. There we go. Let's check back in with the chat. At Nikki, welcome to our TED Talk. Exactly. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're talking about getting fucked up. Exactly. You know what's funny? I'm not going to name names, but I have a few friends. You know, I'm a man of a certain age, 51, about to be 52 in April. And they're my class. I know Larry's like, I met you when you were still a sperm cell. Exactly. Right. And they still say things like, I'm going to go out and get fucked up. And I'm like, I'll go out and have some drinks with you. We'll have a good time. We might even drink too much. But to make it your mission, let's go out and get fucked up. Rear view mirror, my friend. Those days are in the rear view mirror, which I can't see right because I had a few too many drinks. I'm kidding. Don't drink and drive. Hey, Exeter Gutter Cleaning. Oh, she's tagging her friend. Brian Ullum is the dog handler in-laws was telling you about. Yeah, Brian, who's been on the audio version of this show, he's a professional dog handler, which is, you know what, I should have him on sometime on this version. It's interesting. Nikki, 911 suicide and crisis hotline. Yes. If you or
988.
someone you know is going through a tough time, you know, don't fuck around. So we kind of touched on this, Larry, the losing your spark, that whole thing. Exactly. It's a bunch of shit. I mean, you get that momentary shot of confidence and you feel good for a second. But like you said, there's always consequences and a back end to things. Next, I wanted to go, because I couldn't leave this out. Larry and Nikki, and anyone in the chat, by the way, I thank you, Nikki. I'm glad you're still here. But everybody else, jump in. I want to know you're still here. I want to make sure the stream's going okay. I don't know what happened to you. What do you think the role of... and we actually missed on this. We talked about, Nick and I on the phone earlier, about obviously things, you know, COVID didn't help, a lot of isolation. You know, I think there's stats on that, how deaths, drug addiction, and things went up during COVID. Because again, as much as people talk about, that friend on Facebook that's like, oh, it's too peoply out there today. And you know what? I'm a lot in the same way. We have a little fun little thing that we hang in our house is like, just stay home. Let's stay home, kind of a fun thing. But at the end of the day, people need human contact. And Larry, like you said, bars are perfect for that. Because, it's like the opening of Cheers. Everybody's like, yeah, we're singing songs and having fun. And
but
it seems
also,
great.
I think that's part of it too. Is right. Like certain people need certain things.
Yeah.
So some people are perfectly happy to just stay home and play video games or hang with their family or just. But then there are other people who might be in crisis in the situation that they are at home, and that leaving that home and going to a bar to find relief from the situation, the trauma that might be happening in the house. That's staying home is the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, that was a lot of again, because if you do 2 years ago, think about what's going on there. That was some of it too. I'm like, I really just like drinking at home because you can't, not too many DUIs, not too many public drunkenness. But
some people need that social connection, and a lot of times the social connections are where do you go?
Yeah.
Like unless you're in a bowling league. Or if you're, attached to some other passion or creative outlet,
or a director
theater,
at a local community theater,
something like that,
Larry?
Right? Like, where do you go? Like the same thing. Like when people say, "Well, I don't know where to meet people. I guess I'll go to a bar."
Yeah,
because that's like one of the most accessible places for people to connect. And for most people, that's fine. But for some, it's a recipe for disaster.
And it takes people. If it takes people to, revel, it also takes people to help. No man is an island. There's a lot of reaching hands out there. So look for help. Ross, check it in. Real quick. Ross, not watching via YouTube. Look great. Okay, thank you so much. There you go. Christopher, for me, it thrived off of my social anxiety, and I would isolate, which led to heavier use up to 3.5 grams of meth a day. Yeah, I've dabbled in some of that stupid shit. And like I said, woo, hey. And then it's 6 a.m. and you're at a bachelor party and you go, I shouldn't still be up. So yeah, definitely. It is, well, like Nikki said earlier about self-medication, and it's tough. Yeah, I get it. I'm on the Zoloft because I have panic attacks. Because I'm crazy. So, but so that's another thing. You got to be careful with some of that. And it's an easy escape, to do that stuff. Now, I wanted to ask about, I couldn't get a little not political as far as the role of the war on drugs and really what role the government has. Now, I will lead off and say, Larry, I don't know if you know this about me, but I consider myself pretty damn libertarian leaning. I like this, by the way, I'm not necessarily advocating for teetotaling. Like Maria, go out, have fun. Anybody, do your thing. It's just sometimes there are people that, go to excess, like anything else. People too, like you said, Larry, brought up food addiction, eating too much, sex too much, whatever. Wink, wink, wink. There's a cure for that, marriage. But anyway, folks, they have a food for that. Wedding cake. But I'll tell you, it's all right, But, so I also believe that if there's now, we can talk about crime as far as what it leads people to do, but as far as if you're talking about just control of your own body and, your body, your choice, it extends to what you want to put into your body. There are people doing stupid amounts of time because they had a certain plant that someone else wanted to buy off them, that kind of stuff. So I think the war on drugs overall is a huge fucking failure because it was only ever about stigmatizing people, punishing people, and helping people was way the fuck in the back room over the back, the warehouse, the back of the warehouse there. So I don't know. Your thoughts, guys?
I feel like back of that, I mean, the times when we were growing up too, which is for me, it was late 70s into the 80s and then I was in college by the end of the 80s. I think at that point, because that was like the Reagan years with Nancy and her nonsense. But I feel like, thank goodness we are much better. The research has been done, and people, I think back then it was just like, you're just a bad person. If you do this, if you do drugs, it's bad and you're bad and and then you have to be punished because you're bad for doing drugs. And the fact that no one ever really talked about, I mean, they talked, they had the stigmatized idea of, oh, you're going to be in a gutter with a needle in your arm. And, the hyperbole was so ridiculous that it made you think. So for some kids, at least, and when I was in college, it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be. That's in an alley.
Nobody sets out to become an addict or alcoholic. No one puts, when they're a kid and they say, I want to be a fireman. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be distanced from my family because I sold their fucking TV because I can't. Exactly. So, and everybody,
it's just the fact that like people like never, it's not like, it was just like this cartoonish kind of thing that you'd be like, well, that's not going to be me. Yeah, because that's not going to be me. I'm not in an alley in an urban setting. I'm not in a crack house. The crack, when I was growing up, was all like, oh, crackheads, crack houses. It's like, well, that's not going to be me because that's, not. It's just not. That's not the demographic that I am, and it's just I feel like now at least 30, 40 years later, we're finally recognizing that it's just not. It's not like people are like, oh, I'm going to be a cocaine.
There are plenty of bored fucking housewives and mothers of young children who are taking their fucking kids Ritalin and their ADD medicine. Absolutely. There is a culture, and they're having, I'm going to have my little 4:00 wine and all that kind of stuff, which is fine.
And then pointing it to like more of the things like, the cartels and the, it's being brought in from other countries.
That ties in with some of the border stuff too. You want to fight the war on drugs? Fucking legalize a lot of that shit. Boom. Because a lot of it, again, people can argue whatever. Maybe it's a whole other episode, but to me, in a lot of ways, it is victimless to a point. I mean, there are certain things that lead to bad behavior. Hold on, Ross. We already lost the war on drugs, prohibition. Here you go, Denise. Just say no made us kids want to say yeah. Yes, exactly. There's more profit to keep people addicted, keeping them in the system, just like there's more money in cancer treatment than to cure. That's true. Same concept, big pharma profits, so the politicians do as well. No one ever wants to be a junkie when they grow up. Remember that commercial? Yeah. I learned it from watching you, that one too. So, Larry, your thoughts on the role of government and things.
I tend to agree with you. My problem is my problem. Okay, I put the drink to my mouth. I get the pot. I get whatever. Certainly, if other drugs they wouldn't be cut with fentanyl if and they could be taxed by the government. But we have this whole moral issue in our lives.
Right.
I will say though that my daughter was just up in New York and they've legalized pot. And she said that all through Times Square, now happened to be like the day after that it was legalized. And she said she's smelling pot and became so heavy that she started to get a headache. And, someone like myself doesn't really need to get a contact high from somebody smoking,
right.
Even outside. She said it was literally outside New York. It just smelled like marijuana.
To be fair, public urination is also against the law. And New York, Manhattan, midsummer, outside of Port Authority. Ooh.
It's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. But, again, what my point was, there should be some limits on where you could do it, when you know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
And then go to special bars that you can have hot bars or whatever.
It all goes back for me to exactly. It's the big thing in sort of libertarian philosophy is about non-aggression principle. You can't aggress against people. So so if you're polluting people's space or whatever, you're absolutely, of course, but it's like things like, like we said, I mean, it should be more focused. Here's the thing. Okay. Heroin and lots of things are very illegal now. Here's this conversation. Here's a woman I know whose job involves helping people. It's not like it works in the sense that you just, we just say, something's illegal. Like they should try that with rape, just making rape illegal. You know what I mean? And I know I'm going off for a little bit. That's a little hyperbolic, but absolutely. I mean, people. There you go. Yeah, Reagan and Bush supposed to open the borders. Yeah, if you go back, Ross, there's an episode. maybe 3 or 4 ago, about immigration, where I actually played the clip from the 1980 Republican primary, a debate. And Reagan and Bush Sr. couldn't stop it. They were crawling over each other. I'm going to let a bunch of people in. I'm going to be the more compassionate conservative. And I was contrasting it to how things are today. So that was the point of that. So go back and look at that. It's called Immigration is the Sincerest Form of Flattery. I love me a catchy title.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yes. Nikki, contact Ty. Ross, I get headaches from pot. My sergeant once told me that I'm better than the K9 because my headaches got worse with crappy quality pot. I could both detect and test for quality. Yeah, fun fact, I saw that. Fun fact about Ross, he was a Secret Service agent, but that's a whole other thing. So, narc. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's true. So
I think it, but
please
I'm sorry,
continue.
I was just going to say too, the thing that also.
This is an important question. How long are we going? Because my computer's down at 22%.
You're getting low. All right, we're gonna wrap it up soon.
I don't want
That's
me to
okay.
go off.
Don't you have it plugged in?
I didn't because I came down to the.
Okay, I was gonna try to go the whole episode without doing my Larry impression, but anybody. This goes way, way back. In fact, it's turned into a thing. Like people do the impression, but it goes back. I'm busy. Larry, by the way, let me say this. Larry is, without a doubt, the hardest working man in regional theater. Does more to promote it, more to keep its name going. Plenty of people, I'm not saying he's alone, but no one works harder than Larry. Larry, and it came out of sort of those end days when things were, it was just before seeking help. Like Larry loves, he's like you said, he has 2 kids. He loves very much. And he would make, and they would be around rehearsals and things, and there were little kids go, hey, daddy, can I get, all that stuff. So Larry would be like, oh, I'm trying to get help, and my kids and my life. Hold on, Spence, I'm doing something here. And my kids and my life, and Simon, hold on, what's that? I'm trying to talk to him, and we get worked up, and finally oh my God, daddy's working, okay? Simon, come get your brother, all right? Your kids are driving me freaking nuts. I'm trying to do something here, and all you do is nag me. Where was I? Oh yeah, my kids. My kids and my
Daddy's
life.
working.
You do it? Say that again, Larry.
I do that with my dog.
You do it with your dogs now?
Daddy's working.
Daddy's working. God damn it! But anyway, where was I? Oh, my kids and my life. Oh, my little angels. Nikki. Legalize marijuana. I'm sorry.
I got my Yankees on. I know you're a silly.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that. Maybe not this episode, but you with your Yankee shit. I didn't know that Reading brushed up against fucking the Bronx. You know what I mean? When you grew up in Reading, asshole. You literally live in a town that has the AA team of the city right near you. But yeah, because you go back to Babe Ruth. You and Babe Ruth used to slug fucking beers, right?
Me and the babe.
Legalize marijuana, decriminalization works in other countries, crime rate hose down. I'm going to guess she meant goes down. Hello. As well as homelessness. Look at the Portugal model. Yeah. At the end of the day, too, how much dominion does some other group of people, even if they call themselves government, have over you? But that's wacky, kooky, libertarian. Brian Fichtorn, go Lar. Brian Fichtorn.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Long time. Also, Genesis. Is he still president?
No, he's vice president.
Vice president.
Voted him.
There you go. he got a better offer. All right. We're going to play a game. This is going to be off topic here. It's something we do on the show. Larry, you get to participate. Oh, there goes the mouse being weird. It's the question that's on everyone's mind. The question is, am I the asshole? Very quick rundown what it is. On Reddit, there's a subreddit called Am I the Asshole? Basically, people write and they go, hey, you know what? I had this interaction. This thing happened to me. Maybe involving a friend, a parent, a stranger, and this feelings got hurt or something bad happened. And they're putting out for the public at large to go, hey, was I the asshole in this or was it them? So that kind of thing. So it's for us to judge whether or not, hey, you know what? It could be shades of gray. It could be like no one's the asshole. They're both the asshole. But Maria, of course, will walk us through it, and we'll put a little spin on it, and then we'll get the hell out of here. All right, Maria, go. Yep. Make it quick. Larry, Grandpa's computer's running low.
17%.
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. My sister dropped off my niece, 6 years old, we'll call her Kate, to my house this morning because she had an appointment and I offered to babysit. All she said to me was which foods Kate could and could not eat, and then she left. It's been a while since my own kids were that age, so I was unsure what to do with her. She mentioned she liked art, so I found my daughter's old art set and let her at it. She had a wonderful time. She especially liked the unfinished unicorn statues, which led me to getting glue and glitter out. By the time Kate was finished, she was covered in paint, glitter, and everything else. I got her into the shower and did my best to clean any mess. But glitter has a tendency to stick to you no matter what you do, and I didn't have time
Strip
to
clubs,
wash
right,
Kate's
Larry?
clothes.
Strip clubs.
Yeah. Just
Yes, they are. They are the herpes of the craft world. Never get rid of.
Yes, you'll remember years from now that there was glitter in your house. Yes.
Yes. I didn't have time to wash Kate's clothes by the time her mother came back. You would have thought I shaved Kate's hair off by the look on my sister's face. She started screaming about how I was irresponsible to let Kate get so filthy. And before she stormed out, she said, "I'll never be babysitting Kate again." I did offer to drop off the clothes later and let me after I washed them, but she was too angry at this point for me to reach out. Is she overreacting, or am I the asshole for not considering how she would feel about this?
And again, how old is this girl?
6.
And she got into some art supplies and got a little.
Right. She was baby. She offered.
Is this
to
an aunt, by
babysit.
the way?
This is her sister. Yes, her
Okay.
sister's daughter.
Right. All right,
Offered
Larry,
to
your thoughts.
babysit her.
Oh, go ahead.
well, I think the other sister was overreacting. Why? You have a kid. You're playing with them. You want them to do fun, crazy things like that.
Yeah.
And have a good time. And that's what happens when you go to another person's place. So
Right.
she was. She didn't say don't get her dirty.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the problem. She's really mad, and it wasn't written in there. She's mad because the kid got into her bedroom and her neck massager. Your Aunt Carol gets a sore neck every now and then, honey. Oh, don't play with that. Oh, it's sticky and weird.
It's very phallic.
Hey, weird. Maria, your thoughts?
Hey, I having raised a kid, I will tell you right now that no matter what you put them in,
Yes.
be prepared that it's going to get messed up.
There you go.
Even you could. Kids are not meant to sit in a chair and look pretty.
Right. So kids do kid stuff, is what you're saying.
Don't put your kid in an outfit if you cannot handle it getting something on it, stain, food,
Yes.
dirt, caterpillar guts,
Right. Yes.
grass stains, anything. They are filthy animals.
Right. So who's the asshole? Sorry, all I can think about is Larry's battery going down. So come on.
All right. Well, definitely the sister of the mother of the child completely
Yes.
overreacted, and I think she was just mad that her daughter had way more fun with her aunt.
She's the
than she probably
fun.
had with her mom.
Oh, that's good, Maria. That's good. Very quick on that. Yes, when I was in 3rd grade, we had just moved to Boyertown. My dad, we were very, my dad, hey, he was from Philly. So he one of those guys like, hey, he'd say words like, that's classy. If it's like, if they had shrimp at a place, that kind of thing, whatever. So I was invited to a birthday party. Kids, 3rd grade. He's like, you're going to wear a nice dress shirt and dress shoes and pants. I'm like, Dad, we're kids. All right, he insisted. So, of course, we were sliding down a hill and doing stuff. And I'm like, I got in the car. I go, I got fucking dirty. You insisted. So, exactly. Kids are going to do kid stuff. So, and my old man's dead now. So, take that. I'm kidding. I love my dad. I'm kidding. Who was right in the end? You know what? Who was right in the end? I have no idea what that means. All right, let's wrap this up, I think. Very quickly, Nikki and also Larry, what is a quick, because I know people might be like, where do I start? What's a good catch-all, reach out tomorrow, tonight, whatever, where people can start a sort of a one-stop shop where people can get information to keep moving forward to meetings and things in their area? Do you know of anything?
You can go right online to like AA and get and NA and get all kinds of information. There's also meetings online that, because of the pandemic, that really opened that up, like Skype, Zoom, that kind of thing. So, most people have a phone or a computer. That would be a good start. Even if you just listen, you don't participate. You just want to hear. There's lots of good things to read. So I think that's a good place to start.
That's good. And to know, exactly, and always to remember, there's someone out there who you can reach out to. There's always a lifeline if you choose to accept it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, certainly Nikki, I'm sure, has, phone numbers and places, but, online, it's so easy today, back in the old days, you had to find a friend who maybe had a thing.
Right.
They called it anonymous. People didn't want to talk about it.
Right.
You know, you didn't.
Mhm.
I'm an open book about it
Right.
because today it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You know, but back in the day, like in the 50s,
Yeah.
like that's why they called it anonymous. You didn't talk about the
Right. You had to look at classified ads. How old are
Right.
you? I'm kidding. No, but
different story today.
yeah.
Much easier
Yeah.
to find out.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's the thing, right?
we-
The
we
thing
took-
is
go
I
ahead.
think I read somewhere that I read some, I don't know. it was
Larry's
some book I
battery.
was reading
Larry's
somewhere.
battery.
Okay.
Still
It's,
read
the,
12.
they said the bravest word in the English language is the word help, because it's important, and it's not a sign of weakness, and it's not a sign of it's asking for help is refusing to give up, basically.
And the same thing about surrendering, not being afraid to surrender.
Right.
You know, that takes a lot of guts.
Good. Oh, you know what I never took us out of? Thanks. Another rousing rendition of Am I the Asshole? Sorry, that graphic's all loaded up. And, by the way, save me the trouble. Larry, the answer is yes.
What? That
You're the T. Yes. Christopher checking in. There's apps. There's even apps now. There you go. Seriously, no excuse. Get help. All right, and do it for you. Do it for whatever you need to find. I'm not a counselor. I'm not here to save you, but I'm here to say
to anyone or anything that's important to you.
There you go. We talk
I mean,
often
it's your
about
puppy dog or your
the heart.
cat.
Yeah, the heart. Exactly. Do it for your dog. Yes, the heart and soul of this show. The Backroom Show is about camaraderie, friendship, and love. And we love you and we care about you and we want to keep you around for a while. And yes, you do have worth. All right. Even some of you that I know, you ain't so great. I'm kidding. You have worth. You have, just get out of my way on the road sometimes.
Fuck you, Gary. Anyway.
Yeah. Larry, give us a quick plug for Fecho Productions. Larry has a theatrical, well, he does live events, corporate bonding, games and things like that. Very quickly, hold on. Gary, so great to see your podcast is back. Brian, I love you. It's been back. In fact, it never really went away. We still do the audio version, but this video version is relatively new. In fact, we're just about to hit a year, I think, next month. But thank you. I appreciate it, Brian. Brian's a great guy. National Hotline. There you go. There you go, Nikki. Mental health services. All communities have AANA or 12-step meetings, resources centers, recovery centers, or call me. Yeah, reach out to freaking Nikki. She'll get you online. Nicole Loveless. I have a million resources and a big team with even more resources. You know what? If you want to drop me a freaking email, I don't care, whatever. I'll get you in touch with somebody. The smartest person in the room is one who admits they're not the smartest person in the room. There you go. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So, get your help. Get out there. Larry, very quickly. So, yeah, Fecho Productions, go.
Yeah, I mean, we do, murder mystery entertainments, for companies or private parties. We also do team building games, etc. And, for a while, I was doing a Christmas Carol on the Avenue. We haven't done it since the pandemic happened, but that was a very cool event where you walked around and got the whole story of A Christmas Carol in West Reading. We're hoping maybe to bring that back next year. Okay. And then, of course, I run Genesius Theater, and we do 8 shows a year, and we open.
Are you officially the artistic director?
Yeah, I am the official.
Larry's the artistic director at Genesius Theater in Reading. They do great shows. They do not skimp. It's a small, intimate theater, but they do not skimp on talent. Production value. It's just, I've done some shows there. It's been a long time. I'm not really in the game so much anymore, but it's a great place. And Larry, along with people like Brian and many other people, Chris Barrett, happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday. We've come a long way, Genesius. So we have about, $100,000 worth of lights in our ceiling now, all LEDs. And,
wow.
We do some really great work. You got to come back and see a show. But Valentine's week, we're doing a show called The Other Josh Cohen. It's a rom-com musical, very funny, really good, really a good show.
Okay. I think is the web address the genesiusdifference.org?
Genesiusdifference.org.
Yeah, just Google Genesius and look it up on Facebook. You'll get all the social media.
Musicians.
I'm sorry?
Genesius is the patron saint of actors and musicians. Everybody thinks we're Genesis.
Yes, people get Genesis a lot, yes. It's not Genesis. Stop typing that.
Yeah, but,
you assholes. Ross, I'm loving the Beckham. Goddamn right you are. Yes, tons. There you go. Nikki, proud of you. There you go. So good. So check that out. Genesius Theater, Fecho Productions.
And
I see. Any last thoughts, Larry? Very quickly, you want to add about this topic?
Well, I just want to say, there's no shame in getting help, like you said. I really agree with you. Go out. There's there's, like I said, there's no excuse. It's so easy to find all kinds of information, and don't give up with it. It may not work the first time. Go back the second time. Go back the third time.
Yeah.
The other thing that we should do another podcast or show like this on the other side, Al-Anon, the codependence of people who are dealing with alcoholics and drug addicts, because that's a whole other story.
That was going to be one of the things, but that was going to be more Nikki centric. Yeah. Exactly. Family stuff. And we talked, it's funny, she told me that there's culturally specific, and she kind of touched on it, about meetings for people in the same profession, first responders, LGBTQ, things like that. So, if it's, maybe you're not comfortable, or maybe you're more comfortable in a certain, that's fine. There's a group or someone out there for you. Christopher, thank you. You are very welcome, my friend, my nephew. I love you. And you're doing great, buddy. You're kicking ass. So there you go. Bottom line, exactly. We love you and get help. I think that's everything. Oh, very quickly before we go, someone I want to talk about very quickly. This will be very quick. I always save these for the end. We lost another good one in December, about the 21st, I believe. Linda Groff. Linda Groff was on this very program, the audio version. She, that's why I save it for the end. We met her in end of 16, I believe. We went to get our Lab Louie trained, and she was our dog trainer. Well, she's awesome, and she became our friend, because she's great. And she was on the show. So she's not only a friend, she's a friend of the show. And this is, we stick pictures before. That's Linda in the center there in the red shirt. And the back there, great smile. And of course, you have to take the funny, goofy one, right? Oh, right? And if you see Linda's shirt, because she was a dog, she loved dogs through and through. She dedicated her life to the betterment of dogs in society. Something funny, something you learn is, it sounds so hacky, but, she didn't train dogs. She trained people to learn how to work with their dogs, that kind of thing. And so you see the shirt, it says, the more the terrier. Well, there's the lovely Denise there. And Denise is, and knowing that we have terriers, and Denise says, I love that shirt. You know what Linda did? She dropped off shirts and she got her that very shirt. So anyway, she was a good person. Just a ray of light, and gone too soon. So that's it. Linda, thank you from me and Denise. Thank you for the friendship, and thank you for being a part of our lives and all the good you did for humanity. So that's it, and rest in peace. So that's it. It's not an official backroom show unless I end crying. Again, check us out so much, on all the social media. Backroom. There we go. Please subscribe to that. It really helps us get seen more. And so it helps the algorithm. And also, check us out. Where am I at? Facebook. We have two, the Backroom Show and the Backroom Network. So a Backroom Show, and the Backroom Network, look to those for any information about Gary's friends. I'm not going to start a whole new page on that, because let's be honest, people ask, thank you, sorry for your loss, Gary, appreciate that, Ross. People ask you enough to like stuff, so I'm not going to ask you to like another page, but Larry, somebody was saying, look like you would say something.
I got nothing. I just got 2%.
There you go. All right. Perfect timing.
Thanks,
all right.
Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Nikki, we'll work it out for next time. Thank you so much for your information. Larry, love you. There you go. Hugs, Gary. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. So Genesis Theater, Fecho Production, check it out. Nikki, thank you so much. Larry, I love you. You handsome son of a bitch, you. And everybody, reach out to somebody. There's somebody's always there for you. So that's it. So thank you for watching and listening on the audio version. And we'll see you next time. Where, Maria?
In the back room.
Boom. See ya.